on this subject, believing without seeing. Believing without seeing. Believing without seeing this morning. We do a lot of things, church, by faith this morning. Every time we drive to church in our cars, we take for granted that we're going to make it here just because we got in a car and it rolled our way. Every time we sit in a chair, we assume that by faith it's going to hold us up, but sometimes our faith is misplaced and we fall on our assumption because we assume that we're going to be saved. But today we look at this from another scope on this and we think about the faith of a noble man. You see in verse 46, Jesus had just been to Cana earlier. He performed a miracle of turning water into wine at the marriage feast. Then he went to Jerusalem where he drove the money changers and the merchants out of the temple. And while he was in Jerusalem, he encountered a man named Nicodemus. And on his way back to Canaan, he passed through Samaria where he had an encounter with a woman at the well. Now, Jesus finds himself back and he's preparing and speaking to a crowd of people. Then all of a sudden, something happens that's completely out of line with protocol. A nobleman interrupts Jesus while he's speaking to the crowd. Now, I would ask yourself, that who is this nobleman that he would interrupt Jesus? Who is this person? Well, let me tell you, he was a rich and powerful Jew, that's who he was. He was a man of great means and influence. But he also had a problem. His son was at home sick, and his son was dying. He'd gone to the best physician he could go to. He went to everybody he could think of for help, but there was nothing they could do, and he had exhausted all his resources. Where do I go then? You see, there was nothing he could do but sit by the bedside of his son and watch him die. Any parent knows that's the worst feeling that you can have in your life, is to watch your child dying, and there's nothing you can do. Up to now, because of his position, you see, like a lot of people, he probably didn't know what it meant to be in need. Because he had those things that we thought that make us rich. But look at verse 47, the word heard shows up. The nobleman had heard about Jesus. The nobleman lived in Capernaum 20 miles away from there, but Jesus had stayed there, and he performed a miracle at Canaan, and there was somebody there that told him about this man named Jesus that performed the miracle. You see, the nobleman interrupts Jesus just as he's teaching, and he begs him to come to Capernaum and heal his son. You know, look at what the people probably said when he did that. A nobleman stops Jesus. A nobleman begging. Jesus is a Jewish rabbi. That's not supposed to happen. You're not supposed to do that. On top of that, he's a carpenter. And here's this rich, influential, powerful man on his knees begging Jesus to stop in the middle of a sermon and go to Capernaum with him. The nerve of you to stop Jesus of doing his work. You know, we get so caught up in things, we don't think about that. But look at it. You stop Jesus right there. But look at the things that led him to do that. The first thing that led him to do that was trouble led him to Jesus. You know, he tried everything else he could, but nothing had worked up to now. And he was going to try Jesus because this was his last resort. You tried everything. I went to the witch doctors. I went to the faith healer. I went to people to lay hands on him. I went to people to try to give him medicine. He taking pills. He taking liquids. But nothing has worked. And I'm desperate now. I don't know, my child is dying. I don't know what else to do. You know, but I got to find something. Sometimes our troubles and trials are put in our lives to bring us to Jesus. Yes. Because if you didn't do it, you wouldn't know how to get there. Yes. If it hadn't been for a terminal illness of his son, this rich man would have never thought about coming to the power of the universe and say, I need healing right now, Jesus. I need your help right now. He would have never got there.
That's right. That's right.
He would have stayed away from there because I got everything that I need. I'm in this point in my life now that I don't need that. You see, sometimes it takes a drastic situation in our lives where we see the need to come to Jesus. But this man is desperate right now. He ain't got nowhere to go. You ever felt like that where you tried everything you can in your life, and I don't care what you do, it just don't get better? You prayed until your knees are skin up. Let me tell you something. If you've gone that far down the line and you tried everything you can, let me make it a little bit easier for you. Come to Jesus from the beginning. If you can get to him right there, I tell you what, ain't no pill that can do for you what Jesus can. Ain't no liquor that can do for you what Jesus can. Ain't no drugs that can do for you what Jesus can. I tell you what, if you got to get to him first and then tell everybody else what out. If you can just get to him.
Amen.
You see, but what this nobleman's alternative? I tried everything. Look now, all I can do is sit by my son's bed and watch him die. You know what's so sad about it? Some people take the alternative. I don't know how to get to Jesus. I can't do anything. I guess you're going to die. That's just the way it's going to happen. Some people get to that point and never come to Jesus. It's a hard thing for them. You know, we can't get there. And look at this. He personally went to Jesus. Being a nobleman, he could have sent his servant. I can pay people to go. I don't need to go myself. I can send somebody else. But this turns into a personal matter now. It's me and Jesus one-on-one. I don't care if the deacons pray for me right now. I don't care if the pastor pray for me right now. But now it's a personal thing now. It's something right now just between me and Jesus. Nobody else can stand in here and vouch for me on this. So we say, you know what, I got to go to Jesus by myself. Look, you can have people praying for you all you want. You can be on every prayer list, on every church in this country. But let me tell you something. Unless you go to him personally yourself and tell him what's going on with you, everybody else can pray until you pray for yourself. It's got to get personal. When you got a need that only Jesus can meet, I don't care, so what else you can do right there? Don't get me wrong, intercessory prayer is what we're supposed to do. We ought to seek people to pray for us. Galatians 6:2 say, bear ye others' burdens. And in this way, others will be blessed when they see Jesus answer prayers. It's called believing without sin. But look at this. A personal need requires a personal prayer. Jesus couldn't have had a personal impact on this man if he wouldn't have personally came to him. And look at the other side of it. When he came, he asked for mercy. Notice he didn't say, Jesus, because I'm somebody. I'm a rich nobleman, that you should do this just for me. He didn't ask Jesus to bless him because he had any merit. He went to Jesus in a humble spirit because he had a need. Notice he didn't talk about what kind of degree I got. Lord, I got a PhD. Lord, I got a master's degree. I got a bachelor's degree. I got an associate degree. I got all of these things, Lord, that behind my name that say doctor. But when it comes to a problem, it ain't nothing nobody can do for you right there. I don't care how much money you got. You can have the bank full of it. You can have much as Bill Gates. It don't make a difference. It don't matter the status. You can be like President Obama. It don't matter. It don't matter what kind of possessions you got. A big old house. A big old car. It don't matter a little bit at all because you know what? Jesus said, come to me as you are. Don't come to me with all that other stuff. You ain't got to come with all that. All you got to do is come to me just like this.
Yes.
Thank the Lord that he don't count what we have behind our name to help me. Thank you that he took us and we're all the same. Now don't get it wrong. Look. Don't go to Jesus and ask him because you think that you deserve it. You know, we get that in our mind that we deserve it, Lord, you should get it to me. Look at all I've done for you, Jesus. I tithe. I go to church. I read my Bible. I'm a good person. I try to live a good Christian life. This is the least you can do for me. That's like trying to tell Jesus it's payback time. You know what? We don't deserve nothing from Jesus but hell.
That's right.
But Jesus takes time to be merciful unto us because you know what? He didn't have to have this nobleman to have anything. He didn't get it. He was just like a lot of us. We get it on the way home. We didn't understand that he don't look at the things you have. Thank God that Jesus don't look at what we have on the outside. But he takes time to look in here and say, I see what's inside. You see, we have to understand that he wanted Jesus to go with him. He didn't want to stay there. In his mind, only Jesus could do this. It had to be two things that happened in the same place. His sick son had to be there, and Jesus had to be there. Only then could that miracle take place. Look here. This is what we have to learn, church. Don't tell Jesus how you want him to answer your prayer. You know what we want to do this. You ever done that? You got a need, you go to Jesus, Lord, let me run down this list of everything that I need here. I need to tell you, I need to do this. I need to tell you how I want you to do this. You know what? You tell Jesus your need, then you get out the way. You tell Jesus how you want him to meet your need. When he say, I already know what you stand in need of. You don't need to tell me how you think you're doing it. You're trying to tie Jesus' hands. You're trying to limit what he can do. We do that, we want to tell you, I want to dictate to Jesus how he should act. I want to tell you what to do and how to do it, Lord. You see, maybe Jesus had something else in mind.
Yes, Lord. That's right.
You see, the problem with us telling Jesus how to answer our prayers is when Jesus doesn't do it the way you planned it, or the way you want it, or it didn't come out the way you thought about it, you ready to walk away from the church now. I'm ready to go somewhere else because the devil is telling me, see, if God loved you, that would have happened. You prayed to him for this, and he did something else. You see, we don't think about that. You got to go with him with your need, and then you got to let Jesus do it his way.
Yes, Lord.
You see that problem that you think you have, he's already seen it. Let me let you in on something right now that you don't think about. It's no problem that can come in your life without passing through Jesus' hands first. That means if he brings something upon you like that, he already know what the answer is, but can you go through believing without seeing to know that Jesus will fix it for you?
Yes.
You see, if you can understand that. But this nobleman comes up there. Jesus is speaking to a crowd. He talking to them. Everything stopped when this nobleman approached. You ever notice that people that got money or got a little bit of position when other people come, they part ways so they can walk through there. They go to the head of the line on things when they got things. They talk to you like you crazy because you're not on my level. You're not equal to me, so you can't do these things right here. But look at what Jesus does right there. He don't even pay attention to him when he first come there. The nobleman needed to ask Jesus for a miracle. The crowd wanted him to see it. You always got those gawkers hanging behind. You always got the spiritual rubberneckers trying to see if this really is. I got to disprove what's going on. They didn't have faith because they had seen him do these things. But Hebrews 11:1 tell me that now faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. You see, we can't get away from that. Jesus turns away from the nobleman and keep on preaching. Amen. It don't matter what my position is, Lord. He keeps on preaching. Look what the nobleman tries to do. He tries to redirect Jesus' attention back to himself, saying, Jesus, I don't care what their needs are. You know, we get selfish like that. I don't care what her needs are. I don't care what his needs are, Lord. It's me not calling on you. All I care about is me. You see, I don't care what they're going through. I don't care what kind of miracle they need. All I know is that my son is sick and dying. I don't need you to preach a sermon. I need a miracle right now, and I need it soon. I need you to come and go with me right now. You see, we try to put the notice on Jesus right there. But notice Jesus still not paying attention to him. But the man didn't give up. How many of us got to stick to it like that, even when the Lord don't want to answer me? I'm going to keep on going, Lord, till you hear me. If I got to crawl down this aisle to get to you, I'm going to keep on going till you give me some kind of direction. I'm going to keep on moving till I get your attention. But you see, we so easy to give up sometimes that we don't worry about that. Look at this man's faith that goes from a spark. When he heard about Jesus, it was a small spark then. And he said, I'll try him. And then he refused to give up because Jesus ignored him. It turns into a flame. And then we see all of a sudden it turns into a fire. Notice, Jesus denied his first request to go to Capernaum. It was almost like Jesus was saying, why are you bothering me? Almost like Jesus is saying, no, I'm not going with you. You see, Jesus had something better in mind. He already had it worked out, and he just didn't understand because he was an impatient person. He said, I'm going to heal him, and I don't have to be there to lay my hands on him. It reminds me of the story of Martha and Mary. Lazarus' sisters, because Jesus, Lord, you would have been here, my brother wouldn't have died. Jesus said no and keep on doing his work right there. But Jesus had something better in mind for Lazarus. Jesus was going to raise him from the dead. There was the same Jesus that stood at the tomb and said, Lazarus, come forth. And the dead got up out the grave and walked out the grave with grave clothes on. But Jesus brought him back to life. Newsflash, sometime when Jesus says no, he had something better in mind. Might not be what you prayed for, but it's more than what you expected. You see, we never understand how it could be better, Lord. I see my son, my child dying. But just because Jesus said no doesn't mean that he doesn't know what he's doing. It doesn't mean that Jesus don't act in your best interest. He knows you better than you know yourself. If he say, I know how many hairs you got on your head, I knew you before you were formed in the womb, that means you know me a little bit intimate like that, Lord. You know everything that's going on with me. This man's faith turns into fire. And he went on his way. The more you obey Jesus, the stronger your faith grows. His obedience demonstrated his faith right there because he understood. He could have left right then, but he stayed. And he continued to beg Jesus. You talk about humility. All your friends in the crowd seeing you, they know that you're up here in society in this status. And all your friends see you on your knees before a Jewish rabbi. Imagine what people are going to say about you then. Talk about the gospel. It's going to be on Facebook and blast and everything else. You don't know what happened down there in the square this evening.
All right. That's right.
It would have shown, but he didn't believe that Jesus could heal his son without being there. So he left and headed home. Look at what Jesus tells him. Go your way. Your son will live. Now, a lot of us would have said, Jesus, how you know that? You didn't see him. You wasn't at the house. I just left there. But he said, go your way, your son's going to live. You see, we get it so twisted.
All right.
Before he believed, he had heard reports of Jesus from other people. But here's what the key thing is now. The word came into the world, and he's hearing it from the word now that your son is going to live. I don't want anybody to tell me about it. Jesus tells me out of his own mouth, go your way. Your son's going to live. That's the exact same thing that he told him when he gets back home and he headed out to Canaan. And look, he took his time getting there.